When your dashboard suddenly lights up, your car hesitates between gears, or the engine feels rough and unpredictable. Most drivers assume the worst. You picture a long wait at the repair shop, a confusing explanation, and a bill that climbs into the hundreds before anything is even fixed. That moment of uncertainty is where most people lose control. Not because the car is failing, but because fear takes over. Here's the part that almost no one tells you. In the majority of cases, nothing is actually broken. No major component has failed. No expensive part needs replacing. What's really happening is far simpler and far more frustrating. Your car is confused. Modern vehicles are no longer just mechanical machines. They are rolling computers. Every time you drive, dozens of systems are constantly learning how you accelerate, how you brake, how much air enters the engine, how the transmission shifts, even how the battery behaves. Over time, bad data builds up. A weak battery, a dirty sensor, stop-and-go traffic, or a single electrical glitch can throw these systems out of sync. When that happens, the car doesn't brake. It mislearns. And when a system is confused, it starts acting like something is wrong. Warning lights, hesitation, rough shifting, poor fuel economy, problems that look serious but often aren't. In this video, I'm going to show you a series of simple reset techniques that clear those faulty memories and force your car to relearn how it's supposed to operate. These resets cost nothing. They require no special tools, and when used correctly, they can fix the vast majority of everyday car problems in minutes instead of costing you hundreds at the shop. But don't skip ahead. The final reset is the most important one of all. It's rarely talked about, almost never explained clearly, and it's the exact reset many drivers wish they had known before paying for unnecessary repairs. Let's begin. There's a widespread belief that whenever a car starts acting strangely, something must be worn out, damaged, or on the verge of failure. That belief is the foundation of most repair bills, and it's also the part that's outdated. Cars today don't behave like the cars of the past. They don't rely only on fixed mechanical settings. Modern vehicles are adaptive systems. They observe, record, and adjust constantly. The engine computer, transmission controller, steering module, and even the battery system are all learning how the car is driven and how components behave in real-world conditions. The problem is this: computers don't just learn correctly, they also learn incorrectly. A weak battery, a brief sensor fault, stop-and-go traffic, low-quality fuel, a jump start, even disconnecting the battery. Any of these can feed bad information into the system. Over time, that bad data becomes normal to the car. The result isn't a broken vehicle, it's a confused one that starts making the wrong decisions. Here's where the disconnect happens. Most repair shops are built around replacing parts. That's how labor is billed. That's how diagnostics are justified. Clearing corrupted logic or retraining a system doesn't look impressive on an invoice, even though it often solves the problem. So resets are rarely explained and sometimes never mentioned at all. That doesn't mean resets are shortcuts or risky tricks. They're not bypasses. They're not hacks. A proper reset doesn't hide a problem. It removes false information so the system can operate as it was designed to. When something is genuinely broken, a reset won't fix it. But when the issue is learned behavior, a reset is the correct solution. That's why these techniques save money without compromising safety. You're not disabling systems. You're giving them a clean slate. To make this easy to follow, we're going to use a countdown. We'll start with the most common, least intimidating issues, things that affect smoothness and drivability, and we'll move step by step toward the more critical systems that can leave a car undrivable if they fall out of sync. Each reset follows the same simple logic. First, you'll recognize a symptom you've likely experienced. Then, you'll understand what the system is doing wrong. After that, you'll perform a straightforward reset. And finally, you'll see the payoff, how the car behaves once the confusion is gone. As the numbers go down, the importance goes up. The resets become more powerful. The stakes get higher. And by the time we reach the final one, you'll understand why knowing this information ahead of time can save you far more than just money. We'll start with the issues almost every driver experiences first. Problems that make a car feel wrong even though nothing appears obviously broken. You're sitting at a traffic light. When it turns green, you press the accelerator and the car hesitates for a moment, almost like it's thinking before responding. Or maybe the idle feels shaky and uneven, as if the engine can't quite settle down. Sometimes the response feels delayed. Other times it's jumpy and unpredictable. These are the kinds of problems that slowly erode confidence because the car no longer feels smooth or natural to drive. What's important to understand here is that these symptoms rarely mean the engine is failing. In most cases, the core mechanical components are perfectly fine. The issue is calibration. Modern engines rely on sensors to decide how much air to allow in, how much fuel to inject, and how quickly the throttle should respond. Over time, those sensors can lose alignment with reality. Carbon buildup, battery interruptions, inconsistent driving patterns, or minor electrical disturbances can cause the system to misinterpret what your foot is asking the car to do. The result is hesitation, rough idle, or sluggish response, not because something is broken, but because the system is guessing wrong. These early resets focus on the most fundamental inputs your car relies on: throttle position, airflow measurement, and idle control logic. When those signals are recalibrated, the engine regains its sense of timing and balance. It stops overcorrecting. It stops hesitating. It simply responds. The payoff is immediate and noticeable. Acceleration becomes smoother. Idle steadies itself. The car feels cooperative again instead of unpredictable. Many drivers describe it as getting their car's original reflexes back, the way it felt before the hesitation ever started. And if these resets don't fully resolve the issue, that tells you something important. It means the problem has moved beyond simple drivability confusion. When that happens, the car usually starts trying to get your attention in another way. That's when the warning lights come next. When problems move beyond simple hesitation or idle issues, the experience becomes more unsettling. The check engine light appears without warning. The transmission starts shifting harshly or at the wrong time. In some cases, the car even limits power and drops into limp mode, making it feel like something serious has gone wrong. This is usually the point where panic sets in. Drivers assume the engine computer has failed or the transmission is on its way out. But once again, the issue is rarely damaged hardware. It's memory. The ECU and transmission controller are designed to adapt over time. They continuously adjust fuel delivery, idle speed, shift timing, and throttle response based on how the car is driven and the data they receive. That learning process is helpful, until it isn't. A weak battery, a faulty sensor reading, low-quality fuel, or repeated short trips can cause these systems to learn the wrong patterns. Once those patterns are stored, the car begins operating on bad assumptions. Think of it like muscle memory learned incorrectly. The system isn't broken, it's trained poorly. When these learned values build up over months or years, the car starts fighting itself. Shifts become abrupt. Power delivery feels inconsistent. Warning lights appear, not because something has failed, but because the system is reacting to its own bad data. This is where resets become extremely powerful. Clearing the adaptive memory forces the ECU and transmission to return to factory logic. It removes years of accumulated guesswork and gives the system a clean baseline to relearn from. When done properly, the car stops overcorrecting and starts behaving the way it was designed to. The payoff is one of the most satisfying moments in this entire process. Shifts smooth out. Throttle response becomes predictable. The engine feels balanced again. Many drivers describe it as the moment their car finally feels new after years of gradual decline. If this is already making sense to you and you're realizing how much trouble these simple resets can prevent, take a moment to support the channel. Liking the video and subscribing helps ensure more practical, mechanic-approved information like this continues to reach drivers who need it. And as powerful as these resets are, the next ones deal with something even more sensitive: systems designed to protect you. When warning lights related to safety systems appear, the emotional reaction is very different. An ABS light or airbag warning instantly triggers concern. Not about comfort or cost, but about protection. You start questioning whether the car is still safe to drive or whether a critical system has quietly shut itself off. What makes these alerts especially stressful is that they often appear without any noticeable change in how the car behaves. The brakes still feel normal. The steering feels fine. Nothing seems wrong, except for that glowing symbol on the dashboard that refuses to go away. In many cases, these warnings are not signaling a failed safety system. They're the result of brief interruptions. A weak or recently replaced battery. A momentary sensor misread. Low voltage during startup. Even something as simple as disconnecting a seat connector while cleaning the interior can confuse the system long enough to trigger a fault code. It's important to be clear about this without creating fear. If a safety system has a genuine fault, it should always be inspected by a professional. A reset will not fix damaged components, and it shouldn't be used to ignore real problems. But when the light is caused by a temporary glitch, and that's far more common than most drivers realize, a proper reset clears the false alert and allows the system to resume normal operation. The payoff here is reassurance. The warning light disappears. Confidence returns. You avoid an unnecessary diagnostic appointment and the anxiety that comes with it. Instead of wondering whether something critical has failed, you know the system is active, calibrated, and ready if it's ever needed. And while avoiding shop visits is satisfying, cost isn't the only thing affected when systems fall out of sync. Fuel is next. By this point, the problems stop being subtle. You're not just noticing warning lights or rough behavior anymore. You're watching the fuel gauge drop faster than it should, or feeling the steering behave in a way that doesn't inspire confidence. You haven't changed how you drive. Your commute is the same, yet somehow you're filling up more often. Acceleration feels slightly weaker. At the same time, the steering may feel heavier than usual, uneven from one turn to the next, or strangely inconsistent depending on speed. These are the kinds of issues that quietly drain money and slowly undermine trust in the car. Once again, the cause is rarely mechanical failure. It's calculation. Fuel economy is governed by long-term fuel trims, values the engine computer adjusts over time to compensate for air quality, fuel quality, sensor input, and driving patterns. When those values drift too far due to bad data, the engine starts overfueling or underfueling unnecessarily. You lose efficiency and performance, even though nothing is physically wrong. Electric power steering works the same way. Assistance levels are calculated electronically based on speed, load, and sensor input. After a battery interruption, voltage fluctuation, or electrical reset, the system can misjudge how much assistance to provide. The result isn't a failed steering system, it's one that's no longer calibrated to reality. These resets restore balance. Fuel delivery returns to its proper range. Steering assistance recalibrates itself to match speed and driver input. The car stops overcorrecting and starts behaving predictably again. The payoff is twofold. You regain lost miles per gallon, which directly affects your wallet. And just as importantly, You regain confidence behind the wheel. The car feels stable, responsive, and under control, especially in situations where precision matters, like low-speed turns or highway driving. At this stage, the stakes are no longer just comfort or cost. They're physical control. And the next reset addresses something many drivers unknowingly trigger after doing what they think is a simple upgrade. This reset catches more drivers off guard than almost any other, because it usually follows what seems like a responsible decision. You replace the battery, expecting everything to work better. Instead, strange things start happening. The stop-start system behaves unpredictably. Warning lights appear without explanation. Charging voltage seems inconsistent, or electrical features act erratically. The assumption is that the new battery is defective or that something else has suddenly gone wrong. In reality, the problem is perception. Modern vehicles use battery management systems to track battery health, age, and charge behavior over time. When a battery weakens, the system adapts by changing how it charges and distributes power. But when a new battery is installed without resetting that system, the car continues operating as if the old worn battery is still there. The result is a mismatch. The vehicle undercharges or overcompensates. Electrical systems behave unpredictably, and the brand new battery begins aging prematurely. Not because it's bad, but because the car doesn't know it's been replaced. A proper reset fixes that disconnect. It teaches the system the truth. The car recalibrates its charging strategy, stop-start behavior normalizes, and voltage stabilizes across the electrical network. The payoff extends beyond immediate performance. The new battery lasts longer. Electronics behave consistently, and you avoid the frustration of replacing parts that were never the problem in the first place. But if your car still refuses to start, or a security light flashes when you turn the key, then the issue isn't power management anymore. That's when the final reset becomes necessary. This is the moment that creates the most panic. You get into your car, turn the key, and nothing happens. The engine doesn't crank. The dashboard may light up, but the car refuses to start. In some cases, a security symbol flashes repeatedly, as if the vehicle no longer recognizes you at all. At this point, most drivers assume the worst. They think the starter has failed, the engine is dead, or the car needs to be towed to a dealer. It feels like total loss of control, being locked out of your own vehicle without warning. But in many cases, the problem isn't mechanical failure, it's trust. Modern immobilizer systems are designed to prevent theft by verifying that the correct key is present before allowing the engine to start. When everything works correctly, this process is invisible. But after a weak battery, key replacement, electrical interruption, or signal error, the system can lose synchronization. The car and the key stop agreeing with each other. The vehicle isn't broken, it's uncertain. A reset at this stage doesn't override security. It restores communication. It gives the system time to re-establish a clean handshake between the immobilizer and the key fob. When that synchronization is restored, the car behaves exactly as it should, starting normally, with the security light remaining off. The emotional payoff here is immediate and powerful. Relief replaces panic. Control returns. What felt like a major failure turns out to be a solvable system error, resolved without towing, dealership visits, or unnecessary parts. And this is precisely why these resets aren't widely advertised. They don't involve replacing components. They don't generate large invoices. They simply give the system a chance to correct itself. When you understand how modern cars actually work, you stop fearing every warning sign, and you stop paying for problems that were never real in the first place. What all of these resets have in common is simplicity. They don't require special tools. They don't cost anything. And they don't involve replacing parts that were never broken in the first place. Modern cars don't fail as often as they confuse themselves. When you understand that, the fear disappears. Warning lights stop feeling like emergencies. Strange behavior stops feeling mysterious. You're no longer reacting. You're diagnosing calmly and logically. This is what knowledge does. It shifts control back to the driver. Instead of assuming the worst or rushing into unnecessary repairs, you understand when a system simply needs to be reset and allowed to relearn properly. And in doing so, you avoided something important. You avoided wasted time. You avoided unnecessary parts. And you avoided repairs that never needed to happen at all. If one of these resets solved a problem you've been dealing with, leave a comment and let others know which one worked for you. It helps more drivers recognize the same symptoms and avoid unnecessary repairs. And don't stop here. In the next video, we break down how to make your engine feel new again by restoring performance the right way without replacements, shortcuts, or guesswork. Stay informed, stay in control, and keep driving with confidence.